Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's Mike Lepre. It is Thursday night, January 7th, 2021. This is the beginning of legit fantasy basketball, putting on a clinic. It's time that we have a show dedicated to basketball, fantasy basketball, betting on basketball. So to join me for this show, Legit Fantasy Sports presenting, as always, joining me is the man I look to for numbers. Period. Genius Kev, how are you, Genius?
Very good, King. It's a good Thursday night. Can't wait for Friday and the weekend, but ready to go.
Yeah, you sound ready to go. Joining us is he would be like the Kev, what do you call that? Like the cornerstone person that you look to, and you're like the Google of basketball for us, TJ. TJ, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. I'm looking forward to talking NBA basketball. I really am.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, Kev, there's certain people that want to talk basketball. That there's an art to talking basketball because you end up talking about it, and it's one of those you can't quite stop. This is going to be one of those shows where we're going to expand it, right? We got a couple of format ideas, got a couple of other people that want to come on, maybe aboard and do this. So tonight what we're going to do for the 1 hour, because we're kind of piggybacking on the end of the other football show. What I want to do is to start it all off. I want to go through all the teams, but here's what I want to do. There's nothing better than the big three, whatever big three you want to say. Like, who would you consider to be the first big three? Like they said, those were the big three. TJ?
I don't know. You probably go back to the Celtics and Lakers in the 80s when you want to talk about big three. I think you get into the 70s, it's mixed up. But, you had Magic, Kareem, and Worthy, and you had Bird, Parrish, and McHale. And they kind of did it for a decade. And it set the blueprint for what teams are still trying to do now, 30 years later.
The big thing is, though, is you say like Bird, Magic, and McHale, and then I think, yeah, but then there's DJ and Ainge. And that's not a bad drop off at all. And the same thing when I thought about my Lakers, Byron Scott and come on, Michael Cooper, whoever. That's not a bad drop off at all. You know what I mean? So that's all right. So let's start off. Let's start off in the East, and I'm just gonna go top to bottom. Give me who you think. Yeah, give me who you think. I'm like, give me who you think would be the big three. Because, I mean, to me, it seems like the teams are financially built to have a big three? Am I right here or wrong? Someone?
You can't miss if you're going to do it.
Right?
There's in the East, it's interesting. There's a big three here and there, but really it's two guys, right? And you're trying to figure out who the third wheel is.
Yeah.
And that's in Brooklyn, that's in Milwaukee, that's in Boston, that's in Philadelphia, right? So even Miami. So you're really looking at, we got two guys, and then we're going to try and force somebody into that third spot to say we have a big three.
Yep. I mean, yeah. So, but I guess when you have that three, that's the formula, right? When that clicks, when you have that three, that's what you're hoping it is, I guess. You know what I mean? Nothing ever always works out, though. So, let's start off with the Sixers. Simmons, right? Embiid. Who would be third?
So Tobias Harris has been terrific. And I don't know if it's because he's got Doc back and he's playing with some confidence, because last year he was terrible. And I'll say of all the teams, so I'm watching a lot of NBA, but I'm a Sixers fan. So I'm watching all 82 of those games. And Tobias Harris was a nightmare last year. I'm not even mad about having him right now. But to me, the big three, the third guy, even though Harris is probably the third best player, but what Curry brings to the team, especially in fantasy, the kid doesn't miss. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't force anything. So to me, those three guys going into the playoffs, I feel like I can trust. And then whatever they can get out of Harris is going to be the difference between, are they going to get bounced in the second round, or are they going to make a little push?
Yeah, Tobias Harris was actually like number one. I think the number one fantasy ad. I want to say for the last week, right? Like he was like think he was number 1 or 2. I'm always like, with me, my stats are always like close. Like, I'm close. So like I'm in the ballpark. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? Seriously. So all right. So let's move to the Orlando Magic, the team with the I hate the name. I hate the uniforms. Like I do. I hate the powder blue. I hate Magic. I hate Magic anyways. I just hate Orlando. I don't like going to Orlando. It sucks. It's overrated. Like, think about it. It's an overrated powder blue Magic team. Like,
It's a strange team. Orlando's a really strange team because their best player is Vujacic, who the Sixers drafted and then bailed on, right? So he's like their leading scorer. Terrence Ross was trade bait every single year of his life. He's been a contract worth trading, and he's their second leading scorer. And then Aaron Gordon, who I think is their best player, does nothing. And then you look at Orlando. Every night you look at them, you think they're going to lose. They're 6-2 against the spread. Wow. So you figure out Orlando for me.
No. That's the thing. I'm like, no. That's just one of those teams.
So, just quick, TJ, what do you think about the Markelle Fultz season-ending injury? What do you think that does to him?
Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, he just got every bad straw you could draw since he's got drafted. He drafted, and he was just starting to come in. Like, he looks like an NBA player now. Like, when he was with us, he didn't, and it was like, what the heck is going on? And you could tell it was almost like he had the Chuck Knoblochs where he couldn't figure out what was going on. And now this year, he looks like a legit player. I don't know if he's ever going to be an all-star, but to watch him go down last night, that was bad.
That was terrible.
It really is. He seems like a nice guy too.
I think it's funny that you use the term Chuck Knobloch because I use that all the time. And my wife would even say to me, like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'll just be like, he couldn't throw to first. And I'll just leave it at that. It just, it's one of those things, the mental block, right? It's just
that's it, right? Because you watch a kid shoot, and it's like you see him in college, and then you see him 6 months later his rookie year, and it's like he had no concept.
They mess with his shot. Like, those kids are baby antelopes at that age. They're not men. You know what I mean? And they messed with his shot. His confidence. You can crush someone's confidence, especially a kid like that, right? Especially when you change what he's doing.
With that situation, for them to take fans out of the building and just let him go and play basketball like in an empty arena, like now you don't have all everybody holding their breath every time you take a free throw, right? There's certain guys that this environment is actually helping, and then there's other guys, Patrick Beverly, who needs fans to like Marcus Smart to get their gears going, right? But Fultz, I thought he was coming into his own, and it sucks. Too bad.
It really is. All right. Here's another team. All right. See, so when we were talking before of teams that are boring, that look boring, it's just the Indiana Pacers. Does that send any like yay? Do either one of you guys feel any sort of like energy? Like does the room pop when I say the Indiana Pacers?
No. No. But you know what? They're good. They're good top to bottom. They don't have a hole. Sabonis is all over the place. He actually is fun. Sabonis is fun to watch.
Yep.
You can stop telling yourself that you're not watching his dad. Like he actually, in his way, he's a really good player. But no, like I kind of do like this thing where when I'm flipping through league pass, who am I stopping on? And it's like I'd rather watch Sacramento or Atlanta than watch Indiana, even though I know Indiana's a good team and they're going to put on a good show. I mean, TJ Warren can go off for 50, and he's like their fourth leading scorer. So you're talking about big threes. I don't even know if you include TJ Warren. And on half the teams in the league, he'd be averaging 25. But yeah, no, that's a good club. They win games.
I know.
Yeah. They're another one. They're 6-2 against the spread too because no one wants to bet on them because no one wants to have to sit through it.
Is that what it is? Is that how it works? Right. Sorry. So next we have the Boston Celtics. I've watched them the last couple of nights, and watching that kid shoot when he gets it's beautiful. It's goddamn beautiful. He had a turnaround Fall Away, I think it was. And it was just a thing of beauty. Like, it really was. But, like, all right, so who would you say are the big three in Boston?
Well, it's definitely Brown and Tatum. And whatever Jaylen Brown does in the offseason, unbelievable. Because I'll tell you, I'm on record. When he got drafted, I thought he was going to be in Turkey after his contract was up because he looked like he had a good body, but he just looked like a stiff. And he is absolutely not a stiff. I mean, he can play. And Tatum, Tatum's about Tatum, but he's definitely part of the big three. And I think without Kemba there, they're really searching for that third guy. And depending on the matchup, I know we're going to go over games later, but there's some matchups where Tristan Thompson can be that guy. But then there's other matchups where it's like Marcus Smart's going to take 15 shots and you hope he makes 6 of them. So I think Boston's one of those teams that needs a third guy, whether it's through the trade or whether Kemba comes back bouncy or not. But those two, just like a lot of teams in the East, Brown and Tatum are a hell of a pair.
Kemba Walker, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even 4 years ago, was a beast. You know what I mean? That's a wear and tear type of thing with him. How about this one? Here's one for Stu. The New York Knicks. Man, I tell you what, they're 4-3. It's like the first time they've been over like 500 since like 2018. I mean, serious. Like week 1, it was like 2-0 or something like that. Something stupid like that. That's how long it's been since they've had a winning record.
Don't buy it. Like seriously, don't buy it. Van Gundy's a hell of a coach, but he's playing Randall like every minute of every game. And he should beat. So that's what happened to him when he was in Chicago. He just beats the shit out of his players, is what he does. And you can win a lot of games that way because not every secret is not every team in the NBA plays hard every night. And that's if the star players want to show up and play. Because I'm told tonight, somebody texted me and said Kyrie's playing tonight because he feels like taking the night off against Philly, right? So I don't know. When I grew up, the best players played in the biggest games, right? So Kyrie's taking the night off. So, but one thing about what Van Gundy's going to do is his teams are going to play hard. So if they catch a team on the end of a back-to-back, like that's and they're getting points, like that might be a smart play. I know the Knicks they're going to finish over 500 against the spread. There's no question in my mind. But do they have a big three? I mean, they got Randall and RJ Barrett. Alec Burks, I guess, is that gets buckets.
What about the rookie? Where's the jury sit with him?
He only played one game. I don't know.
What do you think?
Great. I don't. Show me. Get on the floor and show me.
Have you seen him? Have you seen the kid?
Not enough to evaluate. Have you, Kev?
No, definitely not.
No, not enough to evaluate him. But I know. I mean, I guess people were in New York were thrilled that he made his way down there because he could have went a lot higher. But I don't know if he's going to be able to defend at this level, especially for Van Gundy. Maybe if he played for the Wizards, he could. But now,
it is weird the system too how it plays. How about the Milwaukee Bucks? You got Giannis, and then I mean,
we got Giannis. So because in the East you got two. You got Giannis and Middleton, who used to be underrated, and now I think he's overrated. But he's a player. He went from like here to here. No one knows what he is. And Drew Holiday was a terrific signing. I mean, all things equal, they're probably the best team in the East, even though they don't have the best record. The question is, can Giannis do in the playoffs? But so it's Middleton, it's Giannis, and then if Drew Holiday can get you some cheap. If you're in daily fantasy leagues, there's nights where he's a guy that you can sneak up on some people with because his name's not handsome and sexy, and sometimes he'll be in that lower tier of point guards. You can save some money on him and spend it somewhere else.
That is true. The thing is, too, you think that Giannis could be the best ever. Like I say that like just because physically, sometimes when I see him take 2 steps and dunk, like just through anybody and everybody, he just takes 2 steps from like the foul line to the rim. It just dunk. He's so long and freakishly good. How dominating could he really be? Like seriously,
it's like if you put a college player in a middle school gym with an 8-foot rim, like that's how he plays.
Yeah.
The other night he took one dribble. Now he caught it on the run. He dribbled a couple times. From when he got to half court to when he dunked, he took one dribble, and it wasn't a travel. It wasn't like some LeBron shit.
Yeah.
I forgot what show I was watching. The guy's like, play this back and just understand, like, that is freakish that you can do that. He went like 50 feet with one dribble and dunked.
It's like a praying mantis. He makes like 2 steps, and he's down the court.
He's in the playoffs, though. So in the playoffs, you got to do it in the half court because somebody's going to step in front of you in the playoffs that's not going to do it in an empty gym on a Tuesday in January.
Yeah.
Like in the playoffs, someone's going to go in there and make you earn it.
They should let them wear like body armor.
It's a pad or two. Some of these guys look like they're wearing it anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know, right? All right. Let's go to all right. So back to boring. Cleveland Cavaliers. They've got some kids that can shoot. Like I like Garland and I forget who the kid is.
Jackson.
Yeah, I like those kids. What else? What else is there?
They're freaking huge. I think that people don't realize. So the Cavs are one of the teams that I'm like I sneaky follow for whatever reason because I just don't understand how they can win games. But they're big. They got McGee coming in off the bench, who's big. They got Nance playing the 3 sometimes. He's big. He's playing the 4 half the time. And they got another big 2 who's slipping my mind. Oh, Andre Drummond's averaging a double-double. And then you got Kevin Love when he feels like not being made out of glass. So they have like 4 legit NBA bigs, and then they got those 2 quick guards. So Cleveland is a team that, you know, on the right night, they can win. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but if they got a good as chance as anybody. I mean, they're better than they're better than the Knicks. They're better than Detroit. You know, they're not as bad as it seems that they are. And the kid section's tough.
Andre Drummond is cut from the Frank Gore mold of people.
He's 40.
You know what I mean by that? Like the way he plays, the way he's been there, and he just keeps chugging. But they're just not the thing with the Cavaliers. I guess they're really good, you know, but they're not like a team that I would stay up late to say watch. Like if they were on at 10 o'clock, I wouldn't stay up for the Cavs.
No, it's hard to.
Right.
But when I catch him, I can't turn him. I don't know why. Maybe it's because LeBron was there. But I just can't. I can't turn him. There's 3 teams like that. There's the Cavs, the Hawks, and the Kings. And when those 3 teams are on, I'm like, I find myself flipping back and forth, but spending more time on watching Colin Sexton dribble around. I don't know, mental block, but there it is.
All right, let's go to the Brooklyn Nets. Who is our big 2, and then who's our big 3 in Brooklyn?
It's a shame because it was Dinwiddie. Even though Dinwiddie was coming in off the bench, the guy can play. So it's Kyrie and KD, and then I guess they're trying to figure it out. The one thing about them is that KD is so good that he's like 2 guys. Like those 2 kids, Kyrie and KD are going to average damn near 60 points a game combined. So their 60 is just as good as some other teams, 3 guys getting 20, you know. So, but I think they're looking for that third option. I think they had planned on it being Dinwiddie playing almost that Lou Williams role. I don't know why I'm like, oh, but here we go. Almost that Lou Williams role. And that hurts them a lot. But I mean, they'll be right there.
Did you see Kyrie didn't show up for the Sixers game tonight, and he didn't even contact Steve Nash, so he's already like going.
Yeah, is there anyone in the NBA you'd less rather have as a teammate than Kyrie?
Yep, exactly. You're a Celtics guy, right? Like shit. So I was always a Celtics guy. Yeah. And I had a share of season tickets, and watching Kyrie that second year made me give up the season tickets. Like, I can't do this. I could not watch him. He upset me so much as a fan of basketball. I hated him so much. I gave up the season tickets. He's that bad. Like, he's a cancer.
And then when he opens his mouth,
exactly.
Talking about, dude. Which is funny because that's why I wish, you know, I like to see the Boston fans suffer a little bit in all sports. And Kyrie was kind of fun to watch, but I was hoping Harden went to Boston so you would have to suffer.
No, yeah.
We're going to dribble for 23 seconds and take a step back. But yeah, Kyrie, when you get to the playoffs, he's tough.
Yeah, very true.
The best thing about Kyrie was his sneakers. The Kyries are like, seriously, that's the best thing I think about Kyrie is the sneakers. Genius. I don't know if you've ever worn a pair of Kyries. They're nice. They're great basketball sneakers. But like, I would want. There's certain people in my life that I would not want as teammates. Like, and he's one of those people that if I knew him, I would hate him. Like, you know what I mean? Because we're going to play a sport and we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. We're all going to do this. We're all going to be on the same page. Let's do this. you're not going to be a jerk and ruin this or throw us off track because we're all friggin' doing this. Which brings me back to, you know what, Kev? I can't. He just. I'm sorry, guys. It brings me back to the fact that if you're going to do something, you're going to play it full out. You're going to play it to its maximum thing. You're going to really try, for Christ's sakes. You're not going to do something and leave somebody hanging because you don't really want to play, but you don't tell them. So we play hard and we end up. He said, I'm sorry. You know, guys, I'm sorry, but he still deserves it. Peterson's going to catch it for me, I think, for the rest of the season. Brady has a ball, but that's a little light, and they lose a pick. I rigged the game, and nothing happens. Okay.
Cut it. Basketball.
All right.
Over to TJ.
The Atlanta Hawks.
Perfect.
Love them.
We got. No, they're fun to watch. My son wants to watch the Hawks.
Trae Young, awesome.
Who's their three?
Trae Young, John Collins, and the kid from Virginia, DeAndre Hunter. But they have 8 guys averaging double figures. 8.
Wow.
8.
See those names are like they're not like household. You know what I mean? That's what's great.
No,
that's what's great.
Duke from Virginia was pretty famous. I mean, Clint Capella's there. People remember him from catching James Harden dunks. But Trae Young should be a household name if he's not. I mean,
yeah, he would be.
Yeah, I mean, Trae Young's going to be an all-star 5, 6, 7 times. And Lynn is young. I like what they're doing. I think they have a real plan. Like, I think they do have a plan. From a fantasy perspective, it's hard because when you have 8 guys averaging double figures, that means anybody can score 6 one night. Like, you can be in the rotation and get 6 for the Hawks. But, yeah, no, that's a cool team. That's an up-and-coming team. But I don't know if any big-time free agent is going to want to go down there and play because someone's going to have to want to go play with Trae Young for them to be a real contender, and I don't know if that happens.
The thing with Trae Young, right, too, is I guess I'm being a jerk here, being nitpicky, but no one wants to talk about his hair. Why do we all know? We all know that it's really weird. It's like curly, but not there. So it looks like he's losing his hair, but it's really kinky curly. And how does that even exist? But nobody wants to bring that up to the forefront. You see it constantly. No one says, literally, what's up with his hair? No one, not once. Why?
Yeah, so we don't really know the strategy with his hair, no. But the cool thing is when you turn on a Hawks game, you can tell if he's on the court immediately. Like you turn it on and he's either there or he's not there, and then you can just keep it moving after that.
Shit. Okay.
Next.
Okay, we got the Chicago Bulls.
Fold them. Just fold.
There's got to be 3. Give me 3.
Zach LaVine definitely
jumps out of the building.
He does. I don't know. I could look at this roster all day and not find 2 other guys that belong there. Otto Porter's there. He had a nice time in Washington at one point. And then I guess, I don't know, Kobe White. There's nothing in Chicago. They don't have a plan. They don't have a star. They don't have an idea what the hell they're doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're the team to bet against.
They are. And, well, let me see. And then you say that, right? They're 6-3 against the spread. But you know what it is? It's because they're always double-digit dogs, right? And in the NBA, if you're up 15 in the fourth quarter, you just go to sleep. But I don't know what the Bulls' plan is this year. They need a couple picks. They need something to happen. They don't have the assets to do it either. So, but Zach LaVine gets dunks.
It's a shame because that's a great franchise. All right, speaking of franchises, the Miami Heat, they're 3-4. What do we franchise?
Well, there's 2 things that happen. First of all, they fooled everybody in the bubble, right? Because no one was doing anything, and they just came out and outplayed everybody, right? They played hard for a month and a half with no fans. Bam's good, Jimmy Butler's good, Tyler Herro's good, Dragic's good. But I think all of them got a little bit ahead of themselves. I think they're all a little bit overrated. I think Butler's having a terrible year for whatever reason.
He checks out sometimes.
He does. I know. Like, he's a dog, though. I mean, if I had one game to win and Jimmy Butler's on the floor, I'm happy to have him.
Oh, yeah.
But, they just got done playing. They had a long year last year. The kid Bam, I think, is a little bit overrated. I know he played well in the playoffs, but he's playing against the Celtics with their, he's beating up on Daniel Tyson. People telling me Bam is like Shaq. No, he's not. He's playing against Daniel Tyson is what he's doing. But they're a playoff team, and fantasy wise, I think Butler's a guy you can buy low on right now because he's not going to average 13 points a game for the whole season. That's just not going to happen. So he's a buy low candidate right now.
All right. Now to a team that's got a horrendous logo, always has. It's kind of just a horrendous emblem. And they drafted probably the guy I at least want to watch, and that's the newest of the balls. So I'm talking about the Charlotte Hornets. So who are the Charlotte Hornets? Because I don't like any of the balls. I know that sounds so wrong every time we talk about this. It's like I hate balls. I don't like any of them, man. And I know he's supposed to be the best, but he to me seems the most immature of all the balls.
He might be. He might be. I'm glad the father kind of took a step back in the last couple of years compared to when the first brother got drafted and he was like on every station every hour. It was enough to make you not want to watch sports anymore. Like it's like the freaking helicopter dad. Like, get out of here, man. This is grown up stuff. I don't know what you're thinking when you give Gordon Hayward that kind of money. Like, nothing about Gordon Hayward screams that. And someone can say, "Oh, he's scoring 20 a game." Yeah, well, someone's got to score, right? So if he plays 30 minutes a game, he's an NBA player. There's 20 guys you can put in his role right now in the NBA. Some of them you don't even know who their names are, and they can get 20. But Rozier's a hell of a player, So if those are their big three, Hayward, Rozier, and Ball, then I'm riding with Rozier. And if I'm the Charlotte rather, and I got to keep one of them around, it's Rozier I'm going to keep. Hayward, I just don't see locking yourself up with that kind of money for a guy who takes 15-foot jump shots, can't dunk, and can't stay healthy. I just don't see it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great recipe. Another one, the Washington Wizards.
They were fun last night. They play no defense. So I don't know how many people do the over-unders in basketball. If Washington's playing, take the over. Like, really, Philly put 140 on them, and Philly doesn't play offense. We got three guys that can't shoot. So Beal and Westbrook are good players. Beal had 50 last night, 60 or something dumb. They play no defense. I don't even know who the hell that third guy is, but they're 6-2 on the over. So they went over 6 times and under twice. They play no D. Boston's going to play them tomorrow night. So if you're in a fantasy league where you can start a Celtic against Washington, then that's an opportunity to score some points.
Toronto. Is Toronto officially playing out of Tampa Bay?
I don't know.
What?
I heard they were going to play all their games out of like Tampa Bay.
They might be
that area.
Too bad. That's a cool core. I like Toronto, even though they got lucky and that shot should have never went in. Kawhi shot should.
Could the Kawhi shot?
Yeah, it should have never went in.
He traveled. Bad. When you go back and watch that clip, like I'll play it because if you go back and watch that clip, when he first gets the ball, in my opinion, he travels.
He probably does. But I've been watching the NBA so long that I stopped thinking about traveling as an actual rule of the rule book. It doesn't faze me when a guy travels in the NBA. I don't even budge. Whatever, they all do it.
I'm just saying, it was on the last play of the game, and it was reviewed.
It was the whole season on the line, and he front rimmed it, and it still went in. VanVleet is having a very good year. He's really coming to his own. VanVleet and Lowry, and the third member of the big three is Siakam. The problem with Siakam is I think he's another one that got overrated by playoff success. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's franchise player good. I mean, he had a nice run. He kind of snuck up on some people when Kawhi was there, but they tried to force feed him into being the man. And he's just never been the man, and I don't think he's handling it well, and that's why Toronto pretty much stinks right now, because they're relying on him. And Kyle Lowry's got to be 32. I don't know. It seems like the guy's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, he's got a build. He's got that Antoine Walker they work out with the weird machines. You know what I mean? They never hit.
They're not doing the real stuff. They're going to go do some random things. But Toronto still has a reputation of being a good team. So because they have a reputation of being a good team, the point spreads don't match what you're actually dealing with, and they're 1-6 against the spread. Because the numbers are always close. Oh, Toronto and Indiana is going to be a close game because it was 3 years ago? No, it's not. Toronto's terrible, and if you're only laying a couple points with Toronto, you're in trouble.
All right, so the only team worse than Toronto in the East is the Detroit Pistons.
Oh.
Jeremy Grant was part of the process. You know that, right?
Yep.
He was in Philly for the process, and then what happened was he was good, so they had to get him out of town like as quick as possible because he had like a week where he was getting 20, and it was like, wow, we got a legit guard, and they're like, yeah, no, see you later. Blake Griffin is still has a career. Derrick Rose still has a career. I mean,
how? That's the part I don't get. How do Griffin and Rose still have careers? That's my only question about the Pistons.
I don't know. D Rose will put a game together every 4 or 5 games. He'll remind you who he is. Once they give that contract to Griffin, they set their franchise back like a long way. But it's too bad because those were 2 guys that should have been perennial all-stars for this whole last decade, and injuries screwed them. It's not because Blake Griffin started taking jump shots a little bit, but the way he played and the way Rose played above the rim, those injuries, those are the guys that get screwed by injuries like that. And when you see a kid like Markelle Fultz who also plays above the rim and they start getting hurt, that stinks because that can really hurt the career as opposed to someone like, say, like LeBron don't get off the ground anymore. LeBron goes down. He can take fallaways for another 6 years if he feels like doing it. But Blake Griffin just couldn't, and it's a shame. But yeah, Detroit, it's a tough year. Maybe somebody will take some of those vets off him for a playoff push. Almost how like when Boston went and got Sam Cassell and they got some other guys over time just to give him some life, man. It's cool if Detroit's good.
Derrick Rose was at one point the best player. Period. He loved how he played. Another one of those guys that play like
he won an MVP. And he's like 5'10".
Yeah. He's just another one of those guys, right? Those attitude guys. You love it.
Yeah.
So we jump to the West. We start off with a team that my son loves, and I haven't really had a chance to catch up with them this year so far. It's the Phoenix Suns.
A lot of people like Phoenix, yeah. So, like Chris Paul makes a difference on a basketball team, and I think historically he's going to be underrated because he's probably not going to retire with a title, and he doesn't have all kinds of awards. I think in the game, the NBA players know how great he is. But he makes a hell of a difference there. The kid Booker can score. Ayton is a double-double machine. I don't think he's ever going to be Olajuwon or Embiid, but that's a big, strong, huge human being that's going to go out there and get like 12 and 10. I like what they're doing a lot over there. I really do.
The kid they drafted though is just like DeAndre Ayton. Like he's literally like the same mold of a type of a player. Like
you can't have too many big
stars. It was a weird type of move, I thought. You don't need to add another similar player to what you just took. Does that make sense?
I mean, Boston kind of does that every single year. That's why they have like 20 guys that are the same size, right? That's kind of what they do. Here comes another one. Oh, this year they drafted one. Oh, he shoots better than the rest, and they're all 6'6". You can't have too many bigs. There's another team though, Phoenix, because their reputation hasn't caught up to what they actually are. They're 6-2 against the spread. And a lot of times early in the season, you can find deals if you understand what teams are really talented because the reputation of what you've been in the last 3 years is what these numbers are on and what people are betting on. So people still feel like Phoenix is good. Phoenix is terrible. They're not. That's a good club. So even if their record finishes, maybe they are a 45-win team, they might win 50 games against the spread.
Oh. All right, let's go. Let's do the 2 LA teams. Let's start with the Lakers. Yeah. LeBron, AD, LeBron, AD. I think Kuzma got hurt the worst by the LeBron signing. He really did. I think Kuzma was on his way. He got stunted.
The third best player, especially if we're talking about fantasy, is Montrezl Harrell. Like, I'll have Montrezl Harrell in every fantasy team for the rest of my life, and there's another kid in the West that I'll always have too. But I don't know if PER really matters or doesn't, but it kind of does to the basketball nerds. Montrezl Harrell's PER is like 21, which is like all-star level. And the kid rebounds, he blocks shots, he doesn't take bad shots. His shooting percentage is always good. I think when the Lakers, when it gets down to playoff time, Harrell's going to be a big part in it. I would include him in the big three over Kuzma.
Oh. All right. So now, what about the Clippers? Have you guys ever really liked the Clippers in the sense of like they just were never pushed? Like the Lakers were always the Lakers, and the Clippers were like sometimes people didn't even know that they existed. Like that's a team that like the average fan sometimes doesn't even know exists because you say the LA basketball team. Oh, you mean the Lakers?
Well, that's because Elgin Baylor didn't nail a lottery pick for like 12 years in a row. What Elgin Baylor did is almost impossible. Like anybody with the Sports Illustrated could have done a better job than what he did for like 10 years. And it doesn't make sense because they were forever picking in the top three. And if you ever grab an old draft or Google any draft you want from when he was there, and you look at the 10 guys that got in the top 10, 9 of them you could recognize, and then there's the one guy, and it's like the Clippers took him. And they actually – Paul George and Kawhi are good players and good defenders. I think that third guy of the big three, I'm always going to go with Lou Williams because I think he can carry you for like a week and a half. But something about that team is not right. Like there's just something that –
It's Paul George's attitude. Yeah, I don't like Paul George's attitude.
And Kawhi took like the third game of the year off too. And I think that says a lot about a guy. Like, do you want to play? Like, do you really, what are we doing? It's the third game of the season. You need a rest day? I don't
ask you about that. That's one of my biggest, I don't understand. It makes me feel like I'm really old. It's what the hell is it with these rest days? Like, what do you mean maintenance days? What the hell is a maintenance day? Like, it's as bad as me with this fucking camera. Like, what is a maintenance day? You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. Like, get in the game.
I don't like it.
What do you mean you need a day off every 3 games?
And I don't know how you solve it unless you make these guys, unless you take their salary and prorate it by the game. Like, really, I don't know how you do it. They try to make rules to say you can't sit out on national television days, or you can only sit out here. And I hate to tell guys what they can do with their own labor. I mean, who am I to tell somebody else to go to work, right? But just from like, from my perspective, like as a fan, I want guys to play. Like Embiid does maintenance days. They've been babying him since he got drafted, and it'll piss you off because, say the Sixers playing the Clippers tonight, and I'm waiting all day because I'm going to go home and I'm going to tune into Sixers Clippers, and I get there and there's no Embiid and no Kawhi. Well, what the frick did you sell me, dude?
That's my point. See, I take it even back to like what the fan base thing should be. You have some kids they buy Sixer tickets, right? In advance for like they get it from Santa. I don't know, right? Maybe they get it from Santa. And they can't wait to go see their team that they've been waiting to fucking see. That dad's been waiting to save up money. He takes the kids to see them, whatever. And they're not even on the court. They're not hurt, but they're just sitting over there in their suits. And this is the game that these kids got. That's my point about why are you not playing? You again, I go back to Belichick. Are you available? That's the one thing that I take from him. It's are you available? I want people that are available. Period. You know what I mean? And
it's true. And it's one thing. When it's the old broken down guys when Dwight Howard goes on has to sit out a couple of games later in the year, it's like, whatever, man. He's got a lot of miles. But Kawhi's is supposed to be in his prime. So what the hell are you doing? But I don't think there's a way to solve it. And I'll tell you from a betting standpoint, it's impossible because those guys shift the line so much. And it's like, if you put your money in too early, you get blindsided like tonight with Kyrie, but Kyrie's made
Kyrie's insane. So,
yeah.
But, what did you think about the Clippers losing by 51?
Yeah, no, that was funny. Yeah, they were down like 40 at halftime. I don't know.
Yeah. They were down 50 at halftime and lost by 51. So they still.
It just says a lot about like the NBA culture because they play so many games, and if you're the Clippers, that loss does not really matter to you whatsoever at all, right? And, if the whole roster decides they're going to go to the strip club the night before and take the game off, they take an embarrassing loss and they go home. Like, I know some people want to blame the coach. Well, he should have them up and ready. Yeah, well, you try and get them up and ready 72 nights a year. These are professionals. If they're not going to be self-starters, then you can't motivate them. This isn't college where you can fucking scream and yell at them in the pregame and get them going. Like, an NBA pregame is like a business meeting. Like, it's not like we're going to go get them. We're going to play some. No, it's not.
Yeah. First, it's going to be King, are you playing tonight? TJ, maintenance day.
Right.
I guess I'll go. One of us is going to go. Yeah, one of us is going to go. Yeah.
My contract says I can give you 11 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Use them wisely. It's an embarrassing loss, but, in the playoffs, no one's going to look back at that, right?
So, Kev, I'm now at a point where I'm wearing a Raiders hat.
Yeah, which
because there's a light. I keep explaining to you in the last show. There's a light that's burning into my eyes that I put in the wrong spot that I can't see. Like it blinded me. You don't believe me, but it's true. I can't see the light that was straight ahead. It's coming to my eyes, and everything still seems rainbowish. So I'm wearing this now because of the glare of the lights. In a sweater, I'm wearing a Raiders hat.
I thought you.
And then you're going to be about Trae Young's hair, though.
What's that?
Then we're worried about Trae Young's hair, and then this is the.
I'm no one to talk. I have all my hair, but I just don't know how to dress. I'm just saying, Trae Young's hair looks almost like, and you know what it looks like. No one just wants to say it. It looks pubic. That's all. It just looks like it's floating on his head. All right.
Over to the Blazers.
Yes. I lost who was next. All right, so it's over to the Utah Jazz.
Ooh.
That's a boring play.
They shouldn't be boring, but they play in Utah. Donovan Mitchell's good. He's taking a lot of shots this year, though. He really is. If you're in a fantasy league and you have Donovan Mitchell, the points are probably there. The field goal percentage is atrocious. I think he's like second in the league in shot attempts. And the only other guy who guns as much as him is probably Jason Tatum, who's a gunner. Gobert just got a whole bunch of money. I don't know why Gobert got a whole bunch of money. I know what he does for a living. But to me, that's,
He hustles.
Yeah, he hustles. He blocks shots. He's French.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. That's it right there. He's French.
But he's like the highest paid player and like post player in the history of the game. But Utah's one of those teams. I think this no fan situation really hurts them because I think it was hard to go into Salt Lake and win, and I don't think it's hard to go into Salt Lake and win in front of the two custodians in the training center. and I think that really is going to hurt them. That whole division there they're all 4-4 or 3-5, like that whole, what is it, the Midwest. I think Denver's going to really separate themselves, but right now, Utah's always, they'll give you a fight. They always have.
So, all right, so move on to the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't care at all about that team.
Can we talk about the name for a second? I know the name is old, but that is the worst name of any team that I can think of off the top of my head.
Pelicans is right.
It's like a fourth grade class pick.
Yeah. I'll take the Pelicans.
Awful. How do you rally behind the Pelicans?
I don't know.
You can't ever be a champion if you're called the Pelicans. You can't. You cannot. Like there's psychology.
Of a Pelican.
There's psychology involved. You cannot be a champion if you're a Pelican.
Worse, it's a jazzy one. Right? It's not even just a Pelican, guys. A Pelican I could stand maybe, but he's got jazz to him, man. He's got soul. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous logo.
It was stupid. Nobody can stop this stuff. Nobody in the organization said, this is dumb. We have to get in front of this. This is bad. Nobody did that. Why?
Well, I think they were hoping that Pelicans would be called the Pels. I really do. I think they thought they were going to be the Pels. I feel bad for these teams that have to start new franchises, though, because when there's no tradition behind it, you just feel like it's a born loser.
Unless you're the Browns.
You just feel like a born loser, But Pelicans wasn't a good attempt. I don't know if Zion was going to be as good as people thought Zion was going to be. When he was coming out, I thought he was going to be Larry Johnson, and I think I might be right. I know some people thought he was going to be LeBron. I know those people are wrong. He's a good player. They have 3 good young pieces, though, because with him and Ingram, they're tough. If they can keep them together and start to develop, maybe they can put like a winning team. The West isn't as good as it was 3 years ago. It's no longer the big, scary West. As a matter of fact, I think the East is just as good as the West, 1 through 10, say. Yeah. But I like what they're doing there.
All right, so let's jump to the Golden State Warriors.
Ooh, my second favorite fantasy player is Eric Paschal, the kid that was at Villanova. You can get him for almost free in daily leagues. He plays. He doesn't do anything wrong. Like, he just plays good, and he's deep in their rotation. His PER is really high. I mean, obviously they're banged up too, but the kid they drafted, he's going to have a 12-year NBA career. Like, he's good. He's real good, and obviously Steph can do what he wants. He took a lot of heat for getting off to a slow start, but it's tough to be him. Every pick and roll he's getting doubled now, every single one. There's no switching, there's no helping, and that's kind of hard. As much as he can shoot from 40 feet, like, those were special shots. He can't be taking those consistently. So he's got a long road to hurt. Obviously it sucks what's happening to Clay. Injuries can kill a franchise, and I think that as much as Durant leaving hurt them, losing Clay hurts more because they're not going to be competitive as we get into the dog days of the season.
True. And Steph's one of those people that I wonder if his frame will come into play. He doesn't seem like he's built for a long, grueling career. And if they keep doubling him and bumping him and beating him as much as they are now.
And he's not he looks like a baby, but he's not young anymore.
No, he's not.
He didn't get drafted out of high school. Like, he played in college, and he's been in the league for a while now. So that frame, that age, I don't know how much longer of a window he has, especially in Golden State. He's never going to forget how to shoot. So there'll always be a role for him somewhere. I mean, he can come to Philly whenever he wants. They can pick 3 guys except Embiid and just have him. But, the window for him at Golden State is pretty much, I mean, that damn thing, slam shot.
Yeah, I would agree. So, all right, so we're at the Sacramento Kings. That's one of the teams you like to watch, is it?
It's my favorite team. It's like my favorite team that's not Philly.
Who's their big 3?
They're young. They're bouncy. Buddy Hield can play.
Yeah.
The kid Rashad Holmes that was in Philadelphia, buried on the bench. I knew he was good. I freaking knew he was good. And he's over there right now getting damn near a double-double. His PER is like 22. Fox is the fastest guy in the entire NBA. Like, I really like what they have in Sacramento. I just think they need one. I don't know if the vet is the right word. Not like an Iguodala type, but maybe like an Iguodala from like 5 years ago type. Because it is a young team. I mean, Barnes, those guys are young. Barnes is young too. So I don't know how the money works out with them. Fantasy-wise, I think there's value there because they're the Kings, and who the heck likes the Kings? But they're entertaining. They're fast. They play the game right. They play.
I like their uniforms. I've never had a problem with them, visually. Like, that's always.
Did you watch the Celtics last night? I know we're in the West Coast. Did you watch the Celtics last night when they played Miami?
Yes, that's why I was talking about shooting.
What do you think about these Miami uniforms where we're pink on one side and then we're like sky blue on the other side?
They're awful. Don't even look. The minute they started to think they were NASCAR, right, with that whole logo shit, I was like, hands up. I'm done with this. You're gonna take me someplace that I don't want to be. And whenever they do that whole they try to find the most female color they can, they slap it on some sort of male jersey type bullshit. No.
It's like when I play, if I'm going to play a video game, the first thing I do when I get to the freaking pick your player side is take the uniforms back to the 80s. Like, that's all sports. Like, I'm going right back. Like, I want to see any shit. I don't want to. I turned that on last night, and it looked like I was watching 4 different teams playing. I felt like I was drinking. Like, really? Like, I don't drink. I'm not drinking, but I'm watching all these colors, and it's freaking psychic. It's psycho. I don't get it. But no, the Kings have solid jerseys. And I hope they freaking turn that franchise around, because if you remember when they had Weber and Peja, that place,
amazing.
Like, they were better than the Lakers during one of those Lakers.
Yeah, they really had a better
team, and that arena was off the hook. And I hope for the NBA that it can get back to that.
I think at that time it was Arco Arena. I don't think Arco is still in business.
Same crowd. They're awesome. I don't like anything about California. I wish it would disassociate, but if we're going to keep them, the Kings might as well be good.
Yeah.
All right, Portland Trailblazers.
There we go.
Yeah, so there's another team. They belong in the East because they got two guys. And Dame is ridiculous. And McCollum's scoring even more than he is right now. So they almost have that Nets thing going on where you got two guys that are going to get you 60. I didn't run the numbers, but if I had to guess, the top two scoring pairs in the NBA, probably Portland, the Nets, and then followed by maybe Boston and the Lakers. So you got those two guys right there. They have the kid Nurkic was supposed to be like the center, like the guy. And then when they brought Cantor in, I don't know when these teams are going to figure it out. Enes Kanter can play basketball.
Yeah.
So whatever team he goes on, he is taking your guys' minutes.
Yeah.
And the Celtics had him last year. I don't know. To me, if he played more minutes, he would have better numbers. I guess he hurts you on the pick and roll, but he hurt the kid Nurkic's draft value in fantasy, and some people probably bought a little bit high, and they wish they didn't. And then I like to see Robert Covington do something besides be like a defensive specialist. Like, dude, make a fucking shot. Because I think if he starts making shots, then Portland's a real dangerous team in that West. They can win around.
I would see if we go back to if you're building a team, who would you want on another floor for you? Lillard is definitely one of the first guys I would take. That's one of those guys that I'm like, yeah, I want him on my team. He's literally one of my first.
He's not scared. No, he's a badass. But Portland, just so you know, because the kids like Lillard and he's famous and the Portland's famous, their number is screwed. They're like 2-5, 2-6 against the spread because they're popular and they're cool and you think they're good.
Yeah, people good. I see that.
So you're like, I'm going to lay the 6 and they win by 2. So that's a team that's costing people money, like on the down low, even though they're cool.
It's funny, no, because it makes a lot of sense what you're saying. A lot of teams are being looked at and judged and impulse like bought by what they've done the last 4 years, not who they are right now. In this bubble environment where everything's, it's a little bit different. I
think part of it too is that in the NBA, I don't think you have as many casual bettors in the NBA. And it's unlike football, you don't have a whole week of that number being sucked to where it really should be. Like an NBA point spread comes out for tomorrow's games, like tonight. And you don't have all that buildup, and then you don't know what the sharps are doing, and you don't have all this money to go on one side or the other because it's just not building to an actual. So you can find like glitches in the matrix in the NBA, and a lot of that is popularity. It's just simple as that. Like this team is popular. Like when Jordan's Bulls were running through the league, they weren't doing that good against the spread because all the money was going on the Bulls. And you see that, and that's why the undervalued teams are not sexy. And then you got teams like Portland with Dame in the commercials. And, they're 2-6 for the people who take them every night.
I'm down with that. I'm with that. All right, here's one of the next one. One of my favorite teams to watch is the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, me too. I wish they need Porzingis. I mean, the best thing for Dallas is they end up in the lottery one more time because I don't think they can do it without Porzingis. I think Luke is awesome. I think he was taken third. Whoever passed on him is going to regret it like forever and ever. I think Mark Cuban is the coolest owner in the NBA and everybody wants to play for him. There's not enough there without Porzingis. I mean, they got Josh Richardson from Philly. Leave him alone. Fantasy-wise, I think it's just Luka. But that's a cool team. They're going to go places. They just got to get on the court at the same time.
Yeah, if Porzingis was there, it would be beautiful. But if they just, it's a fun team to watch in the sense that, like, he looks like he's having fun, that kid, right? He legitimately, that kid looks, he's having a ball every night playing basketball.
He's like just playing NBA basketball, but he's playing like he's playing in a men's league. Like he goes where he wants. He takes the right shot. He makes the nice extra pass to his teammate because he's cool like that. He doesn't even look like he's trying too hard. And he's like, you talk about you don't want to play with Kyrie. I mean, give me a guy to play with, it would probably be him.
Yeah, you're right.
And he seems like he's a good sport. He's been in the pros since he was like 13 over there in whatever Slovenia he was from.
Hey, so next is a team my son keeps talking about, and maybe it's just like a gender. I mean, it's a gender. Maybe it's an age gap. Imagine a gender gap with your son. Just an age gap. The Denver Nuggets. He talks about them all the time. Oh, Dad, they're better than you think. And I'm like, all right, well, who's there? Like, what's going on?
Oh, well, the big guy might be he's leading. If the season ended today, he's the MVP. Like they call him the Joker. He's a badass. He's averaging like a triple-double. Everything runs through him. You know who he reminds me of is Arvydas Sabonis, but like before he got here. Like before he got to Portland, and he was old by the time we saw him. But when he was playing Euroball, that's what it was. They were running it through the big 7-footer, and he was just making all the plays. The kid's unbelievable. Jamal Murray can straight up like just ball. Like, your son's onto something, because Denver, to me, I think they finished good last year. Like they made a name for themselves, but no, Denver's as good as there is in the Western Conference. I put them right there with the Lakers, right there.
All right, so who's there? Give me their big three again, so I can be with you on this.
Murray, and then Porter Jr. And now Porter Jr., when he was in high school, he was like the best player in his class. So it surprises nobody that he turned into this. Again, no, that's a dangerous team, and even though they're playing in an empty arena, the air's still thin in Denver. So. I think that's a tough place to play. I think it's a tough matchup. I know Philly's going to play them coming up soon. I know that was on our list, right? I think that's a tough matchup for Philadelphia because they can match in size, and Jamal Murray can get hot like nobody else in the league. He can score 40.
They drafted Bol.
Huh?
I just noticed that they drafted Bol, Manute Bol's son, Bol.
I met Manute Bol one time. He's the biggest human being. It doesn't even look like he's human.
His son got drafted. His son's actually gonna be really good. My son told me to make sure I put him on my fantasy basketball league. He's like, just stash him this year. He's a rookie. Bol.
You got a franchise league, might be worth the stash. But you know what? Those 7-foot string beans never really work out. Because Thon Maker is still hanging around.
This kid can dribble. Like, have you ever seen the Kiss Kid play? Like, you know how like the kids are. Like, my son's a junior in high school, so he's constantly watching basketball clips. So he sees all these clips of people when they were in high school and whatnot. And he was just telling me about Bol. Like, I just love the name. I love saying the name. I'll say it to anybody as much as I can. Like, Bol. It's like, I mean, what am I saying? And that's the guy's first and last name. Like, what a jerk dad. Like,
yeah, but Manute Bol, I think, had like 13 names though. So he might have passed that on. I don't know how that kind of tradition works, but it's possible Bol is just the only two we can say, and there's like 6 more in the middle. But he's definitely not a stiff. I don't know if he's going to get – it's going to take him some time, I think. It's always hard for that body type. I mean, the Celtics got some monster on the bench right now that can't get – he's got a cool name too, the Celtics big guy from Florida State.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, those guys, they have a hard time, man.
All right, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Total disaster. There are no big three. It's a mess. There's nothing happening. Al Horford is there right now, just making so much money to do absolutely nothing.
Oh.
Al Horford, like seriously, everybody who's an NBA fan should file a class action lawsuit against Al Horford for the amount of fucking money he made to set screens and throw bounce passes. Like, there's nothing redeemable about Al Horford. I don't want to hear he was a good team player when he was in Boston. The guy has never been anything more than average pro. So you got George Hill just playing out their twilight. There's nothing going on in OKC. They got to blow it up, but there's nothing like outside of the money. What do you do? So that's a franchise that's like had it all. They had Westbrook, Harden, and Durant. Like, they had it all, and it's Al Horford on the team.
I didn't ever think I would find somebody who shared in my hatred, not hatred, but kind of hatred of Al Horford. I actually was at a Celtic game with Junior with me, and he had to yell at me because apparently nowadays, like back in the day, like it wouldn't be that dynamic, but nowadays it's like your 17-year-old is telling you to calm down and simmer down. But I'm at this Celtic game a few years back, and I kept yelling, and this is back then, "You're looking old, Al." And I'm like, front row. We ended up with front row seats for this. I'm on the court, and I just remember, and he did. "You're looking old, Al. Al, you're looking old." That was like 4 or 5 years ago, right? He's still playing. Al looks so old.
He does.
Like, he makes me feel old. Like he should be off the TV because he's making us all feel our age. You don't look at Al Horford and go, "Wow, I feel like I'm gonna go, like cut the yard, cut the lawn, do this shit. I feel great." No, you feel like shit about yourself because of Al Horford.
Oh, he's the worst.
No, he is. He is just
He's
don't remind me I'm old, Al. I got it. You know what I mean? I got that part of it. I don't need your help on that one, big guy. All right. Let me go. Let me. Sorry, I really am like that with him. The San Antonio Spurs. That's a class. They made that jersey classic.
All right, sorry, TJ. Can I ask you a question first? This is just my perception as a fan. I used to love Greg Popovich, and I hate him now. I can't stand the guy. I can't stand anything he's about. He's getting kicked out of games. He's having that. I think he got kicked out of that game just so he could say he was the first person to have a woman coach an NBA game. I don't like Pop anymore, and I don't think I'm in the minority on this. I used to love him. I think he was a genius.
We'll see. You're about to see this with Bill Belichick in football too. The grumpy old man shtick works when you're winning championships, and then when you don't have the talent anymore, then you're just a grumpy old man. And I think Pop should have took off when Duncan did and just rode off into the sunset because, the game is almost passed him by. His offense is a total shit show. You're running plays for guys to take 15-foot jump shots off the backboard, and that's like the worst shot in basketball. And then in the meantime, now he's going social justice, right? So he's a politician now at the same time, right? So he's the elder statesman of the liberal wing of the politics, and it's a shame because he was a hell of a basketball coach. He found Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili when no one knew who the heck they were, right? Him and R.C. Buford did a great job, but right now you're right. He's a grumpy old man with a grumpy old stubborn offense that doesn't go anywhere. And I think there's a lot of people in NBA circles that root for them to lose because especially in the media, because, he gave young reporters a hard time for it got funny at the end when he was doing that kind of stuff during the timeouts, but he was really trying to intimidate and bully young reporters from when he established himself. And now to watch him kind of struggle and be mad every night, there's worse things to watch. It's good for you, Pop. You got what you had coming for you because all along the way, Greg Popovich treated everybody else like they were inferior to him, and he was basically an asshole. And it's kind of good for it to happen. I think it's going to happen in New England with the football coach sooner or later because he's another one that thugged out on the media while he was winning, and he doesn't like it right now when he's not. So, I hear you about Popovich. I'm all in. And on that said, I'm not even giving you 3 Spurs because we don't like the Spurs on this program.
Exactly.
Look at that. All right. Houston Rockets.
I'd rather watch you guys play than James Harden. Is there anything worse than watching James Harden play basketball? When he was rumored to come to the Sixers, okay. Would James Harden make the Sixers a finals team? Yeah, probably. Yeah, Harden and Embiid is probably the best team in the East. I don't want to watch it for 75 nights. I just don't want to watch him bang the ball on the ground and do all that James Harden stuff. I think they have talent. They're not winning games right now in Houston. They got to be 2-5, 2-6. I have it, but they're 2-something. So
he's not a winner in that sense.
Nope.
He's not a get behind type of guy. You know what I mean?
They stole the kid Wood. He's a heck of a player. John Wall is there. There's some things that make you think, but nothing's going to work with James Harden. It doesn't matter. You can put the damn dream team around him, and if he's got the ball, it's James Harden.
Him and Embiid would explode. They wouldn't work. It would not work. Those two would not get along. Embiid and him would kill each other. Harden is he's constantly trying to flagrantly do something illegal. I'm being serious.
When he goes to the basket,
what are you watching?
I can't. I just can't with James Harden. And if he came to Philly and had to watch him, they'd probably be even better than they are now. But no James Harden. I hope he goes to Boston because that's what.
Don't ever say that.
Oh, it'd be great. I wouldn't, but then again, I wouldn't be able to watch the Souths.
Remember Chuck Person?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rifleman.
All right. So Chuck Person was no James Harden, but he reminded me sometimes of James Harden in the sense of he had that wrestler type, almost personality that was bigger than the game, and he was just going to shoot he was just going to make the whole game about him shooting. There was nothing else going on in the game but his shot, not rebounding, no one playing anything else. Do you know what I mean? He swallows up the whole game. James Harden takes the game.
Between Chuck Person and James Harden.
What's that?
A lot of gunners in the NBA history, right? And Chuck Person's a great example. The difference between Chuck Person and James Harden is James Harden brings the ball up the floor. He's just not passing that joint for 24 seconds. At least if he caught the ball, he was going to shoot it. But sometimes they didn't pass him the ball. So they're like, yeah, no, we're sick of your shit. We're going to go this side. James Harden dribbles the ball up the floor, calls the play, and then pretty much pounds you into turning the station is James Harden. Anyway.
That's true. Well, that's definitely a great call on him. All right. We had two left. Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves.
I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns a winner either. I think he's talented. He puts up crazy numbers. He reminds me of Kevin Love when he was in Minnesota, where he's putting up these hollow 26 and 12.
Yeah, his numbers aren't like they're up there, but they're not great numbers. Like he doesn't
win games.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't like what they're doing over there. I think it's going to be a tough year for them. They're never going to attract a free agent. So their best chance of like saving the franchise is to draft someone like Karl-Anthony Towns, but he turns out to be Kevin Garnett. Like they need to do something like that.
You know what? When you're in a franchise like this and you're bad like this, you're off to a 2-5 start. The season's not going to get any better, right? Like what a miserable existence. Because do you know how long it's going to be in real life time between now and the next time the Timberwolves are competitive for the championship? Like, you don't even, it's almost like a waste of, it's just a waste. Like, just close the organization down, wrap it up, have everybody send in their gear to one spot, close shop.
Here's the dirty little secret about sports, though. Here's the dirty little secret about sports, like the NBA and Major League Baseball, especially. Football is a little different. The Timberwolves only exist so that the Lakers have somebody to play.
Exactly. They're the
like in baseball, the only reason that the Texas Rangers and the Detroit Tigers are there is so the Yankees have someone to play so they can fill the stadium 81 nights a year. Like no one in the NBA cares about the Timberwolves, but we got to have them because LeBron's got to have 82 games so we can sell all these tickets and all these advertisements. So the Timberwolves are a team that, in the NBA, it's always the same freaking teams. It's just what order are they going to be in because no one cares. And there's not a free agent in the world that's going to go to Minnesota, which is why I think Giannis deserves like a tip of the cap for staying in Milwaukee because, I mean, I wouldn't do it.
No, me neither.
That's Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Like, you'll be in South Beach.
Yeah. I'll take my talents too. All right, so the last team is the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a franchise, and man, that's a tattoo you regret right there. You know what I mean?
It's too bad because they've had good teams. Like they've had gritty, good, tough, like 80s style teams. Ja Morant is a hell of a player. That injury like crushes them. Yeah. Hopefully when they finish like with the number 2 pick, they don't trade it away or haven't traded it away. And hopefully they can get him like a wingman because I think Ja Morant is the real deal. Dylan Brooks is a pro. You know, he's a pro. He's okay. I wonder, they got Grayson Allen sitting there riding the bench, and I just wonder why Grayson Allen either isn't cut or isn't playing. I don't know what his story is, but I thought he was going to have a role in the NBA, and I don't think he does. And he's a tough kid. He can shoot the ball. But, without Ja, that team's just a problem.
All right. You know what? We just went through the entire NBA. We're running on the hour mark. What I think we'll do is we'll go over the games that are left for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The format, guys, I think we should do is I'm gonna name the game. Just give me your winner of the game, and I'll mark down what our responses are, and we'll have a rolling total. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but I already checked mine off, so if you want to go first, you're not going to influence my opinion at all.
Well, I was just going to follow yours.
All right, let's start with we're going to go through them, and I just want the winners. Friday, the 7 o'clock game is the Phoenix Suns against the Detroit Pistons.
Suns.
Kev?
Suns.
Yeah, that's pretty much Phoenix.
Washington Wizards, Boston Celtics.
I'll go Celtics.
I'm going to take the Celtics too. I'm going to take the Celtics too. It's going to go over because Washington plays no defense. Tristan Thompson is going to have 20. So if you have daily fantasy, grab Thompson.
All right. 7:30. Thunder Knicks.
Fuck. So I have to. I'll go Knicks because I'm sitting in New York City right now.
Nice. Yeah, go with the Knicks. He hasn't killed him yet, but by the second half of the year, there's going to be no more Julius Randle. But for right now, take the Knicks.
Hornets, Pelicans.
Hornets. I hate that name. I don't care. Hornets. And I hate Zion also. So Hornets.
Hornets.
Yeah, I think the Pelicans win that game.
All right, there's a split. 8 o'clock, Magic, Rockets.
I'm going to go Rockets.
TJ?
Me too. Safest bet of the weekend, though, is that I'm not going to watch that game. Yeah, I'm going to take.
All right, sorry. Nets, Grizzlies.
Nets.
TJ.
Nets if they play. Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah.
The Nets are going to win a game, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of right. Yeah, I would wait before I. All right, Jazz, Bucks.
Bucks.
Then Clippers, Warriors.
Clips.
Bulls, Lakers.
Lakers.
Raptors, Kings.
I'm gonna go Kings. I'm gonna follow TJ and say the Raptors are overplayed, and I'm gonna go Kings.
Kings, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get points at home. So keep an eye on that one. If they're getting points on Friday night, that's jump all over them. The Kings are going to win that game outright.
By the way, that's a fun late 10 o'clock game right there.
Kind of is.
You're saying. Saturday, 3 o'clock, Denver versus the Sixers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Where is it? Is it in Philly or Denver?
In Philly.
I'm going to go Denver anyway.
TJ.
Me too. Me too. Even though Philly's undefeated at home, this will be the first time Embiid plays someone that's actually at his size and skill level. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble with Denver. We never do good against that division. So, yeah, Denver.
All right. Hawks, Hornets.
Just all the talk on Trae Young and his hair. I got to go Hawks, and I'm betting him over 35.
All right.
Yeah, that's going to be the Hawks. I'll probably never say Charlotte's going to win because I hate Gordon Hayward that much. But yeah, I really do think the Hawks win the game, and they might be getting points. I think they're going to be an underdog on the road.
All right, Suns, Pacers.
Suns.
Yeah, that's a tough game. That's going to be a good basketball game. I'm going to take the Pacers in that one in Indiana.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be like a basketball junkies basketball game right there.
Yeah. Can I switch? Like I want to switch. I want to switch to Pacers. I was thinking about the Suns. Suns are too young they're not ready. I'm going to go Pacers.
All right. Switch. Switch is done. Heat versus the Wizards.
Miami.
Yeah, Heat.
All right. 8 o'clock goes Cavaliers. Oh boy, Cavaliers go into Milwaukee.
Bucks.
All
right. Spurs go to the Timberwolves.
I'm gonna go Wolves because I hate Pop.
Me too. You know what the problem is? You know why I take, and it's not even because I hate Pop. It's because I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge has nothing left, and I think Towns can have a big game against them. I don't think there's a matchup on there where San Antonio can keep up with Minnesota speed-wise, and DeMar DeRozan can't make enough 13-foot jump shots to keep him in the game. So I think
13-foot jump shots. That's awesome.
Magic, Mavericks.
Dallas.
I agree. Trailblazers, Kings. Ooh, 10 o'clock.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's the game of the night so far. I'm going to go Blazers.
Yeah, that's going to be a circus. I'm going to go with the Kings.
Here we go.
That's going to be 125, 120. That's going to be a fun game to watch. There'll be a lot of points in that one. Really good guard play. I don't think. I think the Kings can sneak it out. They'll probably be getting points at home too.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, rolling a Sunday. Here we go. Finishing it up. Jazz take on the Pistons. 3 o'clock.
Jazz.
4 o'clock. We got Bulls, Clippers.
Clips.
6 o'clock starts. Thunder, Nets.
I'll go Nets.
DJ?
Yeah, the Nets.
All right, 7 o'clock.
This is not an awesome slate of games for the NBA this weekend, is there?
Really not. Yeah, there's like 3 so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 6 o'clock. Nuggets, Knicks.
Nuggets.
Kind of blowout city.
Heat, Celtics.
Celtics.
I think Miami wins. Boston won last night. I think Miami will win. Boston's not sweep. They're not good enough to sweep them in a week.
Oh, all right. Lakers, Rockets.
Lakers.
Spurs. Of course, we're both going to take the Lakers, and that'll be the night James Harden decides to score 65 and win. Right? But I'm going to take the Lakers anyway.
You know what? That is a sneaky play right there, the Rockets, because if there's one night that he does want to show that he's the best and like score 400 points, it would be against the Lakers, right? At prime time, right. 7 o'clock. Of course, I liked the Rockets in this.
All right.
I can't wait to find out the spread on this because he's going to outperform. LeBron doesn't care. LeBron doesn't care.
You know what? Like, I don't even know if LeBron really tries.
That's what I'm. Me neither.
It hurts.
All right, Spurs, T-Wolves.
T-Wolves. You don't even have to ask me. Any Spurs game, it's the other side.
All right.
Well, so I think it's hard to beat a team twice in a row. So I picked the Spurs in this one only because I picked the Timberwolves the other night.
I was going to say, yeah, it's two. All right, and then finally is to me, this is a good game. Finally, it ends with, it seems like they ended every night with a good game. Raptors, Warriors.
That's a good one. Fuck. I'll go Raptors.
All right.
I'll take Golden State.
All right.
That's a good one. I'll stay with Raptors, so we're head to head on that because I could easily convince myself to go the other way because TJ, like you said,
I'll tell you what,
out of this world is Wiseman.
So King Mike sends in 19 games. If I redid this tomorrow, I probably switch my mind 5 times, like when you're doing a practice. Right? The longer you sit on it.
So King, can I ask TJ one more question?
Go ahead.
So during we went through all the teams, right? You had a lot to say about some undervalued teams, overvalued teams, and I was talking to some guys that bet a lot of NBA, and one of the things they were talking about was a lot of the spreads are off because a couple of reasons. Number one, the offseason was so short. The older teams are more tired. They don't have a feel for the younger teams. So it wasn't as much like summer league and all that stuff. And that underdog money line plays are a really, really good way to go. Like just taking a whole slate and betting underdog money line across the board. Have you given that like any kind of thought? What are your opinions there?
No, I don't do anything across the board. Right, so I'm constantly thinking about game by game basis, and I just like watching the game. As far as like pure betting strategy, some of those guys have systems that like are well thought out and well earned. If you can put the money into it, there's money to be made. I get more interested in seeing how far the general public is away from what my perception of a team is and how big it is. So when I see a team that's overvalued, undervalued, and why, that's what gets me curious, But yeah, it's almost like those guys that say if you bet every home underdog in an NFL season, you're guaranteed to make money over a big window. But who's got the balls to like do that?
To be like, exactly. That's the interesting part.
Like I'm going to bet against the Packers because Detroit's a home underdog. No way.
Yeah. No, I get it. I was just kind of curious because some of the stuff you were saying about public perception and teams not being valued properly. I think about it all
the time. I just don't bet it.
Yeah, cool.
Hey guys, we're coming upon the finishing of the first episode. My bladder is telling me so at the clock. I want to thank you both for being here. I'm looking forward to doing this. This is going to be a fun Thursday night thing we got here. It's just fun to talk basketball. I'm being dead honest. Like it really is. It's fun to find people to talk basketball with. And if you're looking for drama and storylines, the NBA is perfect, absolutely friggin' perfect. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Anything else you want to leave us with, Kev? No,
I think we're good. Great first show. I love it. I think TJ's got it all down. I took a page of notes on all his comments. So hopefully we're going to turn that into a way to make some money over the weekend.
Hopefully I'm right of them once in a while. Everybody have a fun weekend. I'll talk to you next week, yeah?
Yep. Thank you guys. See you next week. Adios.